Interview take one. Oops. Second clap.
Yeah.
I started writing it so long ago that I'm not sure exactly how it started or when it started. Or I had a couple of things that I started writing when I was at film school, and then around 2002 I started like writing it as a script format. I think the first few things that were like the germ, like the like the germ of the idea was one was this scene where Axel finds he wakes up hangover, not knowing where he wakes up hangover after a night of like not remembering what happened, and then he finds a Polaroid in his pocket and he doesn't remember who was the person in the Polaroid and who took the Polaroid. So that was something that was one of the initial things. I was like, okay, there's a character there and maybe a story, and then I had this other idea of a couple meeting and going to hotels, meeting in random places, and so those were the two things. But then the script, it took a long time for you know, the development process was really long. It was like 6 years or something, and in the middle I got really bored of it and got bored of rewriting, and I started working on Glue, and I wrote a synopsis of Glue for like in 2 weeks or something, and then I shot the film in 2 months. And the way I like writing as well is leaving the script aside and then writing things that are like in another format. So it would be like a short story instead of a scene, or write I don't know, write like characters' diaries, or just develop things like parallel documents that are more like literature format than script format. So I'm not sure exactly what was then. You know, I don't remember all the different drafts. It's been a long way. I remember what was the decision, like the big changes that I did in the last couple of drafts. That was what made the financiers say, okay, the script is ready, you can start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I used to have 3 stories, and I took 1 out, and I kept only 2. And some elements of that story stayed in these stories, and mainly in Vera's story. But yeah, it was a couple, and the character was actually the boy who Lucas, who's the Argentinian guy, well, we don't know that he's Argentinian, but who's the ex-boyfriend of Vera. He was actually someone else's boyfriend. So there's like this couple breaking up, and so it's like the reverse process of Vera and you know, Vera falling in love, and in the meantime there was this other couple somewhere else falling apart, like drifting apart. But I'd never found a way to make the 3 stories gel, and then suddenly when I took that one out, these 2 became very much like mirror of each other, and yeah, everything made sense more. Yeah, well, yeah, everything in the process of the 2 films was as opposed as it can be. You know, there were like 2 different ways of starting a film. One was with no money, and just a few friends, and no script, and just 15 pages of story. And the other one is with a script that I've worked on for 7 years, characters that I know from forever, and money, you know, financiers, and so a lot, like the process of it was very different. What I tried to keep was, I was trying to keep as much of the freshness that I found in Glue. I was trying to bring it to my bed, so we would be very non-respectful of the script. We were trying to, you know, just change it, or like say, oh, forget the lines, forget, you know, just start over and think something totally new, or, you know, make the actors improvise and trying to find things that were new. So in that sense, that was similar, that sort of freedom. but it was much more framed. In Glue, it was all like, it was within chaos, just trying to find something that would be telling something. And sometimes we'd be like, okay, yeah, I think we have a scene here. And then we find it in the editing. But, yeah. I was definitely more I felt confident in Unmade Beds because I've made already a film that was so not, like so not structured, that I felt confident recreating some kind or creating some kind of chaos on set in Unmade Beds. And I think if I had made them the other way around, I would have made something more stiff or more, I wouldn't have taken so many risks, I think. And also I had like, but I don't know, in both films I learned a lot, and different things. In one it was all like, I learned, and in Glue I learned what I could get from freedom, from absolute freedom. And what and how freedom can play against you as well, when you're editing and you suddenly you have a cut that's too long but you think it's fine and no one's telling you cut it down. And in Unmade Beds I had 100 people telling me, not 100 but 5, telling me cut it down, cut it down. So I think it's I don't know, they're both like learning processes that are quite different. I changed the nationalities of what I had in the script originally. I changed them, and in different stages I changed. I kept going back from one country to another, and suddenly Axel was from Poland for a long time. That's why his name is more, it's not a common name in Spain. But then when I was doing casting, I decided to change things around again, and Vera used to be Argentinian, so before in the earlier draft there was the couple was an Argentinian couple, so there was maybe there was more of my own personal experience there, or my own like how you feel coming from so far away to a city like London as opposed to coming from Madrid or France or whatever. But I don't know. At the same time, I felt like the characters were eventually what I found. Like when I decided that Axel was from Madrid, I was like, okay, that's when I met Fernando. I was like, that is the place where he has to be. I couldn't think that he would be like Mexican or from somewhere farther away. He had to be this kid that felt really confident going around Europe, and someone who grew up like in Europe with open frontiers, like EU. So that was important, I thought, for the character, and then for Vera, when I hear the voiceovers in French, I was like, yeah, it makes sense in French. It's what that's where she's from. She thinks that way because she's French or something. I'm curious to see how the reaction of, because festival audiences are so different from normal audiences most of the times. So I'm curious to see what a regular audience in England would be like. How would they react to the film? In general, it's very positive everywhere. People like it, and even people from different ages. I know there's a limit to the age range, and people who are like over 60, they probably find it boring unless they're really cool, or like they can connect to young things or whatever. Then I found I know the typical thing, like in some countries people laugh a lot more than in others. Like in France people don't laugh so much, or in Argentina people didn't laugh at all, I think. But then in America everybody's like cracking up for the whole film, and it's almost too much. And you're like, really? It's so funny? It's not, isn't it?